So, Dirk. Aurora takes Rebel like into pronouns her apartment.
Yeah, she invites all of us in.
Mm-hmm.
Like
mm-hmm.
if anybody like hesitates or lags, she will like emphatically gesture them in. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm. I think Talanor and Vivien are lagging behind. I think she did have to gesture them in. And they come in, but they kind of hang back from the conversation that's happening with Aurora.
And I think the conversation with Aurora is mostly, what do you need? How can I help you? And like, we do need to be on this specific station, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So, in that case, it's probably questions about like where do you need to go, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So, if Talanor and Vivien want to have a conversation, that can also happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Aurora doesn't have like the answer so much as a direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to add a complication to her having a direction for us to go.
Mm-hmm.
Suggestions would be appreciated.
I feel like I added the last one.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I think she introduces the second date move, a chance to escape within a rapidly closing window. I think she basically says, so, yeah, I think what she basically says is, I'm actually about to go, and you guys can come with me. And I think our departure should be able to provide like a small distraction, because the thing you're looking for is vaguely in this direction and we're going a different direction, so they'll be looking at us. But like that's also going to put everybody on high alert. So once we do this, the clock's going to be ticking.
Mm-hmm. Why is she leaving?
Because the Mandate have locked down this station and she's having trouble working.
Mm-hmm.
And more Mandate soldiers means more chance of her staff getting abused. Because it's harder to, make the Mandate not abuse her staff. So. But,
yeah, I do want to have a little breather conversation between Talanor and Vivien, because I think this explanation can be just long enough for that. Unfortunately, I think Vivien is trying not to be the one to start it, because that would mean showing weakness.
Before we do that, let's put some clarification on your statement there, Dirk, because
yeah, we have a line.
We do have a line on abuse, but I think maybe we're talking about the kind of thing where it's like they don't pay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they don't pay, or not like actual abuse, but like Walmart cashiers get abused by customers, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
also they're gross. Ain't nobody want to service them.
They're gross. Yes.
Okay. So Talanor and Vivien are kind of hanging back while Aurora is explaining this to Marius and Rebel. And Talanor is like leaning against the wall with his head back, eyes closed, like doing deep breathing exercises. But it's not really working because he's just like trembling all over. And go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think looking at him in this moment gives Vivien just enough of a kick for them to turn on that, sort of charm that they have. And steel themselves enough to go, hey, we've got this. It's nothing we haven't done before, right? And they are also shaking.
I think Talanor opens one eye and looks at Vivien. And he's like, yeah, you're not wrong. Not great to have to deal with it the third time in a row, though.
Yeah. It's not a great time. The other two aren't used to all of this.
They have their own things they're dealing with, I'm sure.
Oh, Vivien means the other two is in the other two versions of themselves.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think he closes the eye again and hits his head back against the wall gently. That's it feels like every word takes an enormous amount of effort. And he starts the sentence and then just kind of trails off. Yeah, it's let me tell you that having dealt with it before doesn't exactly make it easier.
Do you think this version of Talanor would accept physical touch from Vivien?
Yes.
Okay, then they're just gonna squeeze his hand.
Mm-hmm. He squeezes back, and he kind of like he takes another like really deep breath. The thing is that we don't know what happens to the us when we leave. Those phone calls made it seem like, but also if we keep going, then rescuing Phee is the most important thing we could possibly do.
Vivien just nods. We've always had a past where we found ourselves. We're going to have a future.
Well, at least it's easier to shore up my convictions, I guess. God, this is bizarre.
What are you telling me? Hey, I'm sorry I let you down. Back there.
What, with the guards?
Yeah, it's not like me.
I mean, it's also not like us to suddenly have two whole people in our heads with us. It's not your fault.
Well, not going to let it happen again, in any case.
That's fair. And he squeezes their hand again and lets go. And kind of pushes off from the wall.
So, out of character, just to make sure I'm understanding what Aurora is proposing, she's proposing that we leave with her, going the opposite way of where Phee is? Or is she proposing we use that as a distraction so we can get to Phee?
She's saying you can use this as a distraction, and she's also saying if you want to leave instead of going after this person, this is a way you can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't think any of us expected the station to be on lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also she's saying when we leave, it's going to cause a big noise and make it possibly more difficult for you guys to do what you want, what you need to.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think this is where Vivien and Talanor kind of re-enter the main thrust here. I know Talanor and I aren't leaving.
Correct.
We've got to find Phee.
Marius, kind of pulls themselves up a little bit and is just like, I can't leave my lab assistant.
Hmm.
You know what that is?
Growth.
I mean, I was gonna say gay, but
It can be both.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
God.
right.
No, I think Phee would absolutely not
No.
in a million years.
No.
Never in a
Yeah,
million
no.
years.
I'm just making fun.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
So when everybody else turns her down, Aurora like puts a hand on Rebel's arm, and like Rebel just sort of gives her this like lopsided half smile, and is just like, "Who do you think I am?" And Aurora laughs a little, kind of sadly, and she gives Rebel a hug, and the two of them like hug real tight, like one of those A-class quality hugs you always wish you get.
Mm-hmm.
And she pulls away and she says, all right, well, fine, be that way. I will make you scrub floors next time you come visit.
You know, Rebel. If anyone was going to help with the distraction,
Oh, the look Rebel gives Vivien. If looks could kill. And oh, actually, I think I have a vulnerable. No, that I don't think I want to go quite that far. No, actually, I think I should.
okay.
So, full disclosure for the listening audience, the first vulnerable move I picked was from the Defector playbook because I was looking at the wrong playbook because sometimes it'd be like that. But any which way, I think this is going to be the vulnerable move of losing control of themselves or the space between. And I think like Rebel, like I said, if looks could kill. And then Rebel says, look, I get that you don't like me, you don't trust me, and you would like me to not be here. However, I made a commitment. I will stand by it. If you've got a problem with it, fucking too bad.
And how is this, what are the consequences of this, like, losing control? Like, what happens to Vivien or this space or to Rebel?
I think there's some kind of, like, psychic resonance or like something happens. Basically, Vivien takes psychic damage.
Sure.
And I think what it is, and you can tell me if this doesn't feel good to you, but I think what it would be is like Vivien, like getting, like basically the way Rebel felt when Vivien like brought these like concerns to them, and like it hurt, man. It hurt like a bitch. And Rebel just let it go. Because it's like, can't make myself understood anyway. And I think part of it is also like this one very crystal clear memory of Rebel, Aurora, and Sam, all at about the age of maybe 12, 13, huddling in a closet, listening to a lot of various noises outside the place they are at, and like basically making a promise to be there for each other. So.
Okay. So Vivien gets this blast of memory and pain and animosity. And I think the feelings in there are not necessarily even new to them. This version of them, anyway. But it's just a wave on top of all the other psychic bullshit.
Yep.
And they stagger backwards as if they've been slapped. And I think something that even Rebel wouldn't expect from this. For a moment, it looks like there's the imprint of a hand on their cheek, and it's not Rebel's hand.
Ooh.
But yeah, Rebel has made it very fucking clear that they are going with. And yeah, I think it is time we got into the action of it.
Are we waiting for me? I have no thoughts.
It was a recommendation of moving to a new scene.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I can build it if no one else has an idea of how we proceed.
I do not have one.
Okay.
Um.
Yeah. Go ahead, August.
So, Jade mentioned something in the Discord, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of before the scene ending and the little lizard kind of makes a little disapproving shrieking sound, and I think that the space between makes a move.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, where is it? Creating an unexpected connection between people. And all four of us feel this wave of irritation and upset that is distinctly Phee flavored.
Mm-hmm.
basically the idea this isn't helping, you need to get your act together.
Mm-hmm.
So we all get a token from this.
Word.
Nice.
Need to start spending tokens now.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
So I think before we decide our next scene, I want to know a little bit about what the distraction looks like and how we leverage that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this a case of it's just drawing a bunch of people away from where we need to be? Is it going to do something in particular to the mandate systems? What are we working with here?
I think it's specifically going to draw people's attention away from where we need to be.
Okay.
Yeah, like nobody is supposed to be going in or out of this space station, and they already let one ship in that they weren't supposed to. They'll be damned if they're going to let another one out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. So how are we doing this? Are we just storming the place that we think Phee is, like the med bay or wherever? Are we trying to sneak around, like go through like maintenance tunnels? How are we tackling this?
I think sneaking around sounds a little more interesting to me. Because it has its own potential for like skirmishes,
Mm-hmm.
but it won't get us there quite so directly.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the distraction pulls guards away from like some of the less important passageways kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives us an opportunity to get into these maintenance tunnels from these other places because we have that we've got that information from somewhere of how to navigate those kind of maintenance tunnels.
Yeah.
And the and so instead of being able just walking through a whole bunch of guards up to the med bay, it's taking advantage of, well, they're not guarding this hallway. We can use this hallway to get to XYZ secret passageway.
Mm-hmm. I want to use a scum and villainy move because it's spicy, but I don't know exactly how it would fit.
Which one are you thinking about?
Introduce or invite a betrayal. And I'm thinking, the betrayal isn't necessarily one of us betraying the others, but like we've been betrayed by the information we were given, like it was intentionally inaccurate or only partially accurate. But I'm not sure exactly how that manifests.
So I think maybe we got these maps from Align, who, for their own reasons, provided maps that have been falsified. And I think that what a falsified map means in this case is that we get lost in these tunnels because things like there aren't turns where there should be, and there are turns where there shouldn't be. There are dead ends, and it is eating up time that we are not sure how much of it we have. And in addition to that, the more we move around back here, the more likely it is that someone will notice us being where we shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So Scum and Villainy will get a token. Are you getting?
Already.
Very good.
Yeah.
And I think after like 3 or 4 turns that just don't fucking make sense, Talanor like pulls everyone to a stop, and I don't know, maybe tears the map in frustration. Just like, okay, well, that clearly was not correct information.
It's almost like we're back in the house.
Talanor shudders.
I think I'm going to use a strong move. Receive a vision of the past, present, or future. I'm going to spend a token. And I think Rebel is going to say, can I take a look at that?
Talanor halfway through crumpling it. Just like sheepishly uncrumples it.
Which half of the map would you like to look at?
Rebel is just like, nope, I get it. I'm gonna do a thing. And I think Rebel might actually say that. Nope, I get it. I'm gonna do a thing. And takes the map. And I think the vision Rebel is going to get is of the original map and how a wine has falsified this one. And is going to like basically scribble onto the map the correct route we need to take. And yeah. So
I think, to add some flavor to this, I think you get envision of Alwine with like their head in their hands as someone reports on a missing android. And you get a sense of like they would do anything to ensure the safety of the people that they love, including betray the rebellion. And so like we then get this cut of them talking to some mandate officer, and potentially giving them the information that made them lock down this place to begin with. They didn't say who would do it, but like, hey, there's maybe gonna be an attack, and that's what caused the lockdown in the first place, and then also taking this map and making some changes to it.
And I think when they finish correcting the map, they're gonna look at Talanor and say, don't be too hard on the person who gave you this. They were trying to protect you. And they don't want to lose anybody else they care about.
I'm going to pick up the mandate real quick. And we hear in the distance, although it's difficult to pinpoint exactly where it's coming from because the halls are twisting, the maintenance tunnels are twisting and turning, but we hear in the distance the sounds of boots on the metal grating that we're standing on, and it's coming closer. So, giving Mandate another token for foreshadowing a larger threat.
I think Talanor, frowns, and he says, some things are more important. But he picks up the map, reorients himself, and points down a hallway, that way.
Is that seen?
I think that's seen.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't think that we should actually find where Phee is just yet.
No, yeah. We still got 2 hours.
Yeah. We've got plenty of time for things to go terribly wrong.
Delightful.
So my next question is, as we re-enter Idle Dreaming, do we, we've got an inkling of how these tunnels actually work now, but do we get outfoxed by the mandate agents that are clearly not necessarily coming for us, but at least sweeping the area out of an abundance of caution?
I feel like that makes sense.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be them outfoxing us, as we weren't quick enough getting through the tunnels, and now we're rapidly becoming trapped. How's Marius doing?
Oh boy. I think that they look like they're holding it together.
Mm-hmm.
But of the people that would be here, I think Phee is the one who would be able to tell that they're off.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, they've worked pretty closely together, and, Fee's demonstrated being able to read Marius pretty well. If not, just read them for filth. Actually, I think maybe Talanor notices that Marius is acting out of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
Not because our Talanor necessarily would know, but, going rogue Talanor
Mm-hmm.
already doesn't trust Marius
Mm-hmm.
and has kept an eye on them.
Yeah.
So
I like that. I think in that vein, I kind of want to see what that looks like.
okay.
So I think we're running through the halls. Talanor has given up the map to Rebel because while Rebel may have fixed the map, he can't read their handwriting or interpret all of the things that Zay put onto the map. So after a hot minute, he's just like, yeah, no, here. And hands the map over and falls back in the kind of marching order. And I think when he does that, he gets a good look at Marius for maybe the first time in a hot minute. Because earlier he was kind of in his own head and then concerned with getting the information they needed. And so he drops back with Marius and fixes them with like a... It's not withering, but it is a I don't like you, so I'm not asking this purely for your well-being kind of stare.
Mm-hmm.
But like, are you okay?
What title would Talanor be going by in this particular universe?
I think he earned the title of lieutenant, but I don't think he uses that title ever anymore.
Oh, good. I think Marius just kind of goes, Lieutenant, you are having just as strange a day as I am. I think it's safe to say that none of us are, and they make air quotes, okay.
Talanor rolls his eyes and says, I don't actually care for your well-being right now. If you'd asked me, 2 hours and another universe ago, I would have. But right now, I can find it really difficult. I'm finding it really difficult to care for your actual well-being. What I do care about is whether you're holding it together enough to actually complete this mission.
I'm going to make a vulnerable move here really quick.
Mm-hmm.
I need to start spending tokens. I think I think Talanor, of all the people here, like I said, Talanor is the one who can tell when Marius is lying.
Mm-hmm.
And Marius says, I'm capable of completing any mission that's put in front of me. That's why I'm here.
And I can tell that's a lie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But my vulnerable move is to lie to a comrade about your capabilities or intentions, so...
No, it's great. I love it. And... I... Yeah, okay. So I think Talanor kind of does like a soft growl and pushes Marius against the wall. And like has an arm across their collarbone kind of thing. And he's just like, I don't fuck.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh my god, Schrag.
I don't think that... No, hold on. What was I going to say? I don't think that's true, Marius. I think you fail a whole lot more than you tell people. And that's fine, he says through gritted teeth.
Marius is like, the Manila incident was not my fault.
I'm not even talking about the Manila incident. The entire reason that I'm here right now, and he doesn't specify which here he's talking about, is because of you. And on the one hand, I think that this is where I need to be. But on the other hand, I have seen you fail on more than one occasion. And so when you lie to my face like that, I take it a little personally. I don't...
Oh god.
Go ahead.
I just had the most... Oh my god. This is gonna be so stupid. Marius is so stupid. They're canceled.
Oh no.
Marius just kind of like explodes and says, I had a husband. Do you know how distressing that is?
Oh my god.
Like I said, it's so stupid.
Oh, God bless this person who was just the stupidest motherfucker on the planet.
In the background is the sound of Rebel smacking themselves in the face.
I think that Talanor goes like a brilliant shade of red. And you can visibly see him holding back every instinctual urge that particular comment brings up in him. Most of which are incredibly violent. Marius knows what it looks like when somebody looks at them and intends violence. Talanor somehow holds all of that back and swallows. And says, I do, in fact, know what that's like, Marius. And like he takes it like a shaky breath. I thank you for admitting that you're having some issues. Now, if we could please have a slightly less rose-colored discussion of what your actual capabilities are right now, I would appreciate that.
Marius.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, go ahead.
Oh, just partly to save Marius from this, and partly because I think it's funny. Is this the point at which, like, the trap is sprung and whatnot? Is it possible that a certain person's loud outburst has alerted the mandate to our whereabouts?
Love it.
I do like that a lot.
A plus.
Yeah. So let me just...
Does Marius start to
take
say
that.
something and then get interrupted, or do you think that's when the interruption happens, is before Marius can say anything?
I think for the sake of protecting Marius, I think it's before they can say anything.
So yeah, I think we are suddenly finding ourselves cut off on either side. Or cut off at least from the front. By just a deluge of mandate soldiers. I think Vivien growls, I think a demonstration might be in order. But instead steps forward. I'm going to make a vulnerable move. Actually, this probably isn't a vulnerable move. I think this is just the thing they're doing this moment. I think they've got this imposing combat armor. I think part of that is this incredibly thick shielding on their arm, like across their forearm. And they just give this like jerking gesture, and with like chick, 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 you have this shield extending out from either side. And like cross braces extend out, so they've got this just full kite shield,
Good shit.
just attached to their armor. And they are going to yell at everyone to go and find an alternate route. How do we like this being an instance of the bond getting separated?
Yeah, I dig
Love
that.
it.
I dig that.
And it's really funny because I think in this moment, Rebel would actually not run and would stay with Vivien to help make sure they have a way out. Unless we
Okay.
want something else.
August, no.
Oh no! We lost August.
Yeah, they are.
Man, what a fortuitous pairing up of people at this moment.
I know,
Truly,
right?
the order that this should go in.
Dagnabbit.
Yep.
Poor August.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Stop that.
Mode.
Better?
Am I back?
We can hear you.
You appear to be.
Yes.
Yay.
Thank you, cutie.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that I like the idea that Marius does in fact have some sort of necessary skill
Yeah, I was
Mhm.
I was thinking about using one of my strong moves. Reveal a tool you need is already on hand, concealed.
Mm.
The only thing that springs to mind is smoke bombs. But
I was thinking more along the lines of something that is, I mean, that also is good, but in addition to that, something that is necessary in order to get Phee out. Being the impetus that, like, this is the reason why Talanor would listen to Vivien without question and just drag Marius the fuck out of there.
okay.
But I do like the idea of you having some kind of smoke bomb, and that is how Vivien et al. Are able to get away.
Yeah. So I have hidden pockets. I pull a smoke grenade. Like I imagine it's like actually just very tiny, very, fits in the palm of Marius's hand. They press a couple of buttons on it and chuck it down the hall. The mandate people are like, what the hell is that? And then the smoke goes off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we're able to beat our retreat.
Nice.
Danielle, I have given Talanor a token for the bond move of getting separated.
Okay. So we end up like running down different hallways, essentially. The party split in twain in order to make use of this distraction that Marius has provided. And I imagine also Vivien's just like making a whole ruckus, trying to draw people away as well. Because that sounds like something they would do.
Yeah. And I think Rebel probably like does something to help like enhance the sounds that Vivien is making, or to make them sound like they're coming from slightly different directions, something like that.
Yeah. And like also, you are a Nova with an Astral Blade. This is going to draw attention as well.
Yeah. I forgot about the Astral Blade. Yeah, fully
You could just draw attention by being your own dang self.
Yeah. Yeah. Just be like, oh yeah, shit, I do have an Astral Blade. Shing.
Vivien wasn't wrong about Rebel being, good at being the distraction. Which
Yeah.
pairing do we want to jump to first?
Well, you just kind of
'cause I
did
think-
Talanor and Marius, so.
I was saying we could kind of pick that conversation back up. And this may be the point where we reveal a little bit more about like where Phee is.
Mm.
Because I feel like maybe you two are able to get more in that direction.
What do you think, August?
I like that idea.
Okay. So we end up off down a separate hallway. Talanor is basically has Marius by like the scruff of their shirt and is half
Mhm.
dragging them down the hallway. And they stop once Talanor has kind of determined that they're far enough away that they can rest. I don't imagine Marius is particularly good at running.
No. No, they are not. They're stereotypical academic type, don't have skipped leg day,
Mm-hmm.
skipped arm day, skipped all days.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that's fun for everybody involved.
Does Marius pick up right where they left off?
I think so. I think that they're still just expressing disbelief at just the memories that they have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think what they would say. I think that they're just describing the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had a husband and my husband's partner, and I had to betray them. And now I'm here, and it is I'm just paraphrasing because I can't think exactly how Marius would say it, but just, I did these things, and now I'm here, and I've done so many other things.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that they're most hung up on is the fact that they had a partner, and I don't know exactly how to describe how Marius would describe their relationship to Annabelle. But it's clear that they don't know how to parse that they had that kind of intimacy.
Mm-hmm. 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 I like that. So what I'm getting from this that I don't think I fully clocked before is it doesn't. Do you think Marius knows that Talanor had a husband and that husband is dead?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I'm getting
the vibe. Mm-hmm.
Like, is that the kind of thing that Talanor broadcasts?
No.
Because, Marius is not going to pick up on that.
Mm-hmm. Because, we have the question of their relationship at the beginning, which is, Marius half lying and being like, yeah, I lost someone too, and they went out, I had to leave them behind, and this helped me get over it. or, I lost them and this helped me get over it.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of using that to leverage against Talanor. But I don't think that they leveraged it in bad faith. I think they thought that they were relating to Talanor about the same thing. Like Talanor was obliquely referencing this partner that he lost. And Marius is like, yeah, see, I lost a partner too.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until later that Talanor found out and is like, and maybe he feels like he was manipulated into this when that wasn't even necessarily the case. Does that make sense?
It does.
And so I think Talanor just kind of like watches Marius babble for a little bit, and he looks like he's coming to an understanding, like a realization. And oh my god, incredible. I think he stops Marius and like puts his hands on Marius' shoulders in a significantly less aggressive move than previously. And he kind of like shakes Marius a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, Marius, a lot of people have a lot of issues with you. We've had this conversation before.
Marius gives Talanor a, like, no shit look.
But that doesn't mean that you're unlovable.
I think this silence is in character.
Mm-hmm. I have a husband. Had a husband. Have had husbands. Kind of blinking like none of this makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And in every case, he loved me while I was the person I was, before I changed, before I got better, before I learned the costs of my actions and the awful realization of the things that I was actually doing and the harm I was doing. And he loved me anyway. If someone can love that me, then I can only think that there's people out there who would find it easy to love you.
I think Marius or once in their life, understands that Talanor is being vulnerable with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they just kind of slump a little and say, he made me want to be the kind of person who could save people. And I don't know how to deal with that.
I think this plays into my lateral move. What can your character share that would make me feel sympathy? So I'm going to give you one of my tokens. And and he kind of like gives a rueful smile. Wow, closed captions, you sure tried and got it very wrong. And he says, I hope you believe me when I say that I understand that feeling completely. We're going to save Phee. And if my memories are true, then in so doing, we're going to save a whole lot of people. We can be the people who do that. We will be the people who do that. What's the most important step a person can make?
The first one.
Talanor smiles. It's not, though. The first step isn't the most important one. It's the next step. It's that you keep going and you keep taking the next step. We've made the first step. We're here. We have to keep taking the next step.
Marius nods, visibly pulls themselves back together, and says, well, suppose we should keep going.
Yeah. Thank you for telling me.
I don't think Marius says anything to that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think that might be seen.
Yeah.
All right, Dirk. Here's where we're at.
How's it going?
Yeah, I think that this has been just absolute tooth and nail. And I think we reach a moment where we have taken them out for a second. We've barricaded ourselves in some, like we've closed the blast doors on them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's maybe this. I mean, correct me if I'm off base, but I like the visual of Rebel and Vivien taking a breather, and Rebel has their Aster Blade. You know, it's a light weapon, So they're able to wield the space between. It's not as much exertion, whereas Vivien is using this plasma axe and, their arm shield, and has just battered themselves to get to the same point. And it's not like Rebel is effortless, but it's just clear that there is a difference there.
Mm-hmm.
That it takes fighting twice as hard to reach the same result. It's different costs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think this is where we find ourselves having just a moment to recuperate.
Mm-hmm. I think Rebel is like standing with their back against like a wall or a door or something, face turned up towards the ceiling, eyes closed. And I think Rebel starts this off by saying, I had a thought, and then I realized the way I wanted to bring it up wouldn't have quite made sense, but okay. Rebel says, so back at Aurora's.
Look, I'm not gonna complain that you were with me right now. I still think maybe you could have gone with her. Or gone with them? Sorry,
Her.
me. Yeah, gone with her.
I was going to apologize for what I did while we were there, because I am supposed to be a Nova, and I am supposed to have more self-control than to just unleash my powers on innocent and undeserving people. And look, I know I'm not fucking Talanor, but I don't know where you got the idea that I would just and Rebel just sort of trails off, like can't even figure out how to finish that sentence.
Well, first of all, don't know that I'd say I was undeserving of what you did to me. But I'm glad that control is something that you want to work towards.
I have control. I have so much more control than I let other people see. Because my struggles are not your burden.
What fucking struggles? Do you know how much I've had to sacrifice in this war? Do you understand? What have you had to give up?
And Rebel looks at Vivien. And it is a deeply serious expression that I think some version of Vivien has seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Not this one, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Rebel just looks at Vivien for a long, long moment and says, I'm going to pretend for just a moment that you genuinely did not think of the full and total implications of that question. I'm just going to assume for just a moment that you are aware of the fact that there doesn't have to be war for people to suffer and hurt and have to leave behind the people they love. I'm going to assume you understand that even in times of peace, people die and get killed for many, many reasons. I'm going to assume this because if I assume anything else, we're going to have to fight. And the way I'm feeling right now, you will not win. And then Rebel takes a deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. And says, that's unfair of me. I know. I apologize. No, I haven't lost anybody in the war. I haven't fought in the war. I have intentionally done my best to stay away from war. Because and they kind of like wrinkle their nose a little bit and make this expression that I cannot properly describe, but there are words that Rebel is like putting together and not quite saying yet. And Rebel says, I thought I was going to know what I was going to have Rebel say when I got to the end of that. I think at this point, Rebel just takes another breath and says, I'm sorry that you have lost people and that you have suffered. I really genuinely am. Nobody deserves that. But I would appreciate if you would at least make an attempt to understand that there are other ways a person can be suffering. And I'd tell you more about it, but honestly, only a third of that story is mine to tell. And you're a decent person, Vivien. Like, it's always been obvious across multiple lives. You're a decent person, and you're trying, and you want to do what is good and right. That's obvious. And I'm trying to be vague gesture at Vivien. Someone like you. I'm not you. I just. God, it's not gonna kill you to laugh sometimes. Okay, I've been talking too much. I'm gonna shut up now. Your turn.
Okay. It's not gonna kill you to laugh sometimes. There is kind of a haunted look crosses Vivien's face. It's like, I used to want nothing more than to laugh and to make the people I cared about laugh. But this is not a galaxy where I get to have that. You're right. I don't understand what is out there for you that is bigger than this war. But the mandate is powerful, and to people like me, they are everywhere. And people like me, it seems, are the only thing stopping them from getting farther.
I didn't say it was bigger. I just said it was different.
Well, but you made a choice, though. Whatever it is, you made a choice to prioritize that. Until now. I'm glad you're here now. But no, I don't think I'll ever understand.
Yeah, you really don't, because I didn't make a choice to prioritize that. I wouldn't be here if I hadn't prioritized that, because you know where I'd be? Dead. I would not have been able to have food or a home, or maybe I would be alive and something else would have happened. Sometimes people have to choose to live, and they have to do that first. I had the luxury, and I do need you to understand this points at the floor, generally indicating the situation. Doing this, fighting this war, this is the luxury.
I think Vivien almost gets angry again, but something just clicks and they just kind of crumple, just sitting, knees up, and they just start shaking, put their head in their hands like, God, what happened to me? I used to care so much. I'm tired, Rebel.
Rebel sits down in front of Vivien, crosses their legs under themselves, pointedly does not touch Vivien.
Mhm.
And says, I don't know what happened to you. I'm sorry it happened. You deserve better.
Vivien just chuckles, and there's a ghost of the old smirk. I'm just like, well, I guess in one word, war. War happened to me. I'm glad you missed it.
I'm not. I'd like to be. But like I said, we all have our own struggles.
I wish I saw yours. But it just seems so much easier to be you.
It takes a long, long time and a lot of work to make it seem this easy to be me.
I think there's a sound outside the door. There's reinforcements trying to get back. Vivien just slowly gets back up, cracks their neck, reignites their plasma axe. Well, I better start practicing then.
And Rebel rolls up to their feet, pulls out the Astra Blade, and says, I've got an idea. You're probably not going to like it. And I'm going to spend a token to use the strong move. Use the space between to protect yourself or others. And I don't know what this looks like, but I think the end result is that we don't have a whole lot of problem with the mandate soldiers in this particular hallway.
All right. I think that is a good place to jump scenes. So I will say this much. I think maybe after whatever is the next scene with Talanor or during, maybe just take a look at that last strong move on the loyal book, and I can have that in the back pocket.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Good shit. So I think Talanor and Marius have made significant headway towards their destination. I think that Vivien and Rebel's plan / distraction has worked great. And I think Phee is in a med bay, but it's not like the actual med bay. It's prisoner med bay. And maybe we half expected them to just be in a cell. But I think they are receiving active support from doctors. And I think we find this out when we come out of the maintenance tunnels in the kind of prison sector. And I'm imagining just a see-through, like, glass walls kind of bullshit. Because prisoners don't get privacy. And also the drama. And so we're hiding behind some small cover. And, you know, we can see straight into the med bay. And it's like, we're going to go down the hall to where we think the prison block is that they're being kept. But we notice that Phee is in this med area. And also the place is crawling with fucking guards. Because at this point, not only have they had a ship come in, a ship leave, they know that something is happening, which is why the lockdown is here. And also, they have heard their compatriots in the tunnel reporting back that they're in pursuit of some suspects. But that they don't think that it was all of the suspects that they're pursuing. They think there are others. And so this place is just fucking crawling with guards. And I think this is observe that the objective of your mission is in sight. Cat, it's just your tail. It is not an enemy you need to run away from. Right. Observe the objective of your mission is in sight, but that it lies behind a grave obstacle. And we can see into the med bay past these just an obscene number of guards. And Phee is floating in like some weird goo that is providing them with sustenance in their unconscious state. And also is glowing. And the lizard that is still with us and is riding on Marius' shoulder, like chirps, and like pulses with a brief flash of light that Phee then replicates, the pattern of flashing light. And Talanor is just like, well, fuck.
I have a strong move, but I'm not sure how to apply it.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the spy's strong moves is move you and your comrades around an obstacle that you would be unable to overcome directly. We definitely can't overcome this directly, but I'm having trouble figuring out how we maneuver around this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe does Marius leverage a combination of being a spy in this universe with having been a spy, having been a professor in a different one?
I'm not sure I follow.
Basically, I sort of mean like having an idea of how they're supposed to interact with professionals of this sort. And also, doesn't Marius have a oh wait, no, that is Vivien. I was gonna say, doesn't Marius have another uniform, but that's Vivien. But you did say that Marius was in a mandate uniform, right?
Yes. Oh, sorry, I dropped something.
So
yes, Marius is wearing a mandate uniform.
Yeah. So, like Jade says, flash some fake credentials. Expert here to see the weird glowy prisoner.
I do have the glowy lizard. I could use the glowy lizard as like, hey, I found this. We need to run some tests on it. It's reacting with the test subject number 1. So that could help get us closer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could get us in the room, and then the next problem is getting out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I've got.
Is this a situation where Marius is almost like betraying the lizard by handing it over, and the mandate like snaps it into a little containment field?
Oh.
Oh. know.
But it does get you where you need to be.
Baby.
Yeah. We'll get the lizard out. Like, the lizard is part of who we're getting out, so...
Yeah.
But we
They don't...
Original Erwin's gonna kill us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just won't tell him.
We won't tell him about the endangerment of animals. All right.
Yeah, I do. I like that. And we get into the room. We are separated from Phee by a tube of glass, and then from freedom by literally everything else in this station.
Well,
I
we
still
knew
have-
we might have to give our lives for this.
Yeah. But we've got to come up with a way that we can still facilitate getting Phee out.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Marius have the tool that we needed to do this?
We can get Phee out of the tube for sure, but getting past the guards is the next big question.
Mm-hmm.
I still have 2 tokens left though, and that'll allow me to pull a piece of equipment or a piece of intelligence or both from up my sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
The question is what equipment or intelligence would be most useful at this particular juncture.
Oh, I'm dumb. I have a lateral move that can help, I think. So we have to get there first, but
Yeah, I was. Yeah, sorry, I'm all over the place right now.
You're
Flipping
all
through
good.
multiple documents.
So many tabs.
so many tabs.
So we get into this med bay, and I think it makes sense that Marius, through as part of this costume / part that they are playing, the doctors begin to remove Phee from their tube. It's like a capital P process, but like ostensibly just to lay them out on some kind of table for Marius to do whatever fucking tests that they want.
Oh man, I had an idea for something that Marius might have, but I don't know if we necessarily want to go there.
What is it?
I'm imagining it's like an electronic, like a patch that you can slap on somebody's skin that like, or like on their neck next to their brainstem that effectively like yerks them.
Uh-huh.
Oh my.
So that way we get somebody else on our side.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that's like too much. So I'm putting it up there. Feel free to veto, because I know mind control can be unsavory for folks. So
Yeah, what if instead of being yerked, it's just like they become much more susceptible to suggestion?
okay.
Because then you can say, well, it's releasing some kind of, I don't know, hormone,
Mhm.
or other brain chemical that just like, yeah, we like this person. This person's great.
Yeah, so one of the main people, like, who's in charge, who's obviously in charge, is just like, Marius comes up to them and like is leaning down towards Phee and like drags them down to lean towards Phee in the examination, and in doing so, like palms the patch and slaps it on the back of the researcher's neck.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And so now we have a potential ally in the room with us, at least.
Mm-hmm. Good.
So I think Marius suggests that we need to move Phee and the lizard. And I think this is where the other person being suggestible comes in, where they're like, "Oh yes, I can understand needing to move to a different location to do some testing."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very dystopian, like, I'm using proprietary equipment and I can't use it in this particular setting. I need to have privacy.
Oh, God.
So instead of onto a table, they load Phee onto, like, a gurney. I kind of want to know what Rebel and Vivien are doing.
God, it would just... This is gonna make a right mess of things, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
Definitely.
Yep.
Do it.
Do it,
make
coward.
things worse.
All right. So this is almost working. Marius and Talanor are almost going to get away with Phee. And Vivien and Rebel don't know that. Vivien just knows that Talanor is not where they are. And that cannot be. And they are going... I'm going to use my strong move to smash every barrier stopping you from reuniting with someone. Because this is a linked move, I am targeting a bonded character, and so you get one of my tokens, Danielle.
Okay.
And yeah, we might end up needing those, because this is the two of these people absolutely just bursting in to this medical facility, just carving through the security, carving a path through. And that's when the people who aren't under the effects of a patch realize that shit might be not as under control as they thought.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Right, time for plan B, and Marius pulls out a gun.
God, Marius with a gun is the most terrifying thing I've ever heard of in my life.
Oh God. Very good.
And that's my last token, so
let's see. Let's look at the mandate here.
Yeah, we can put someone in immediate danger. We have several choices.
Uh-huh. So Rebel and Vivien burst in. Immediately there's a whole lot of shouting and violence that start happening. Talanor and Marius are beginning, like, have Phee on a gurney, and like have just started to push them out of the med bay. And Marius sees what's going on, pulls a gun. Talanor sees what's going on, pulls his Astra Blade. And all hell breaks loose. And did you have a
I
thought?
think the mandate is I think a mandate is going to use a move. Hey Marius, you know how you don't have any tokens right now?
oh yeah.
Yeah, the mandate is going to intercept information or supplies and give a token to whom you've taken from. Whoever is in charge of this facility, this like particular experiment with Phee's connection to the space between, is going to order their subordinates to get the lizard out of here. Because
oh no,
if they've compromised, if Phee is compromised, they can at least experiment on that.
Wait,
I
the lizard
regret.
can teleport.
They don't know that. That's very good. I like that. What does Marius do?
oh man.
Right.
Oh man. I don't know. I don't think that. So I think Marius pulled a gun, but I don't know if they're actually capable of using it. Let me have a look at my moves. I could always cause collateral damage to someone who didn't have it coming.
Uh-huh.
Oh no.
But I don't know who would be collateral damage. That's the thing. Because like all the mandate people would have it coming. So the only people who wouldn't have it coming would be like
I mean, Talanor is right
party.
next to you.
Yeah, Talanor or the lizard are the two that I'm thinking of, and the lizard is off the table, so
hey,
Hurt me.
what if sorry,
Go ahead.
Danielle.
Go ahead,
What
Sean.
if Rebel notices at the last second that the one that Marius is going to shoot is Sam?
Oh.
Ah. Ah. Oh. Ha. Oh. Fuck. Ah. Fuck. Ah. Can't believe you've done this to me. Fuck.
Does Rebel get in the way?
Give me a second.
Sure. Meanwhile, Little Bit is over here making little chirping noises at me, and it's very cute.
No.
Baby. Yeah, no, I have tokens. I have a token. I will use the space between to protect Sam by telling that bitch to duck.
Okay.
Jade, you're not
Well-
even playing.
So, Dirk, please understand. If you're protecting Sam, telling them to duck, these guys are probably going to get away with the lizard. Is that what Rebel is willing to sacrifice?
The lizard can teleport.
All right. Okay. You are trusting that.
I am trusting that.
clutch.
Don't make me doubt my decisions, you.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but the mushrooms will teleport the lizard. And the mushrooms are growing on the lizard. The lizard will be teleported.
Okay, did I take that token from the mandate like I was supposed to? And just scroll all the way down. Where do we keep tokens for our pillars?
Also,
Below the characters.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just blind. Okay. Mandate has one token now.
I think it's at this point, there's only suggestibility can only go so far. So I think at this point the head scientist realizes what's going on and sees Marius with the gun and starts wrestling with Marius to get the gun from them.
Mm-hmm.
So
What's Talanor doing? I feel like he hasn't taken an action in a second.
Talanor is, since once Marius is involved in this like wrestling match, Talanor takes over pushing the gurney. And I mean, he's just going to run with it, essentially, because the most important thing right now is getting Phee out. So yeah, like they will lash out at anyone who comes directly to stop them, but they also aren't turning around to help the others.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to propose 2 moves in quick succession.
Mm-hmm.
I think in this moment, Vivien steps in. I'm using a strong move, draw fire and take a hit, but refuse to go down.
Mm-hmm.
I think they cover Talanor's escape with Phee. And I'd like to use the Bonds Pillar move and ask us, what shared memory does this situation bring to mind?
Hmm. Um, is this the reverse of how they met?
I do like that. I want to put a spin on it, though,
Mm-hmm.
and say that in that situation, Vivien was the one Talanor was getting out,
Mm.
Oh.
and that someone else took the fire.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's good shit.
This hurts me.
Is Marius winning? Marius winning his fight?
You winning?
That sounds like something. That sounds like something they would do, right? Win a fight?
Well, the other person is also a scientist, so I give him 50-50 odds. This is
Oh my God,
like a
that's so
slap
funny.
fight between 2 twiggy nerds. Except there's a gun involved. So just looking at my moves again. I don't want to keep pulling stuff out of my sleeve. I feel like I've done that plenty. I think it's more fun if Marius isn't winning.
Mm-hmm.
Give Mandate another token for immediate threat, because now there's another person with a gun in the room. But I think I mean, this is endgame, so I want to say I invoke the fate move, sacrifice yourself for the cause.
Mm-hmm.
Which means y'all get to divide my 2 tokens amongst yourselves as you see fit. Because if there are any players that share this fate but have not yet invoked this move, you may give them your remaining tokens. And I am supposed to show how my final act is critical to your party achieving their ultimate goal, and I think it's one of those things where Marius lost the gun, but they're able to still get this person to the ground. So they can't go for Talanor. And I think this is a case of like Marius does get grievously injured.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to go into detail, but there's a gun involved. Gun violence can be grievous, so but it gives Talanor enough of a window to get Phee out without taking fire.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm going to give one of my tokens to Rebel and one of my tokens to Vivien.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Damn. I think Rebel is the last one out of the room. And there's just a moment where Sam notices Rebel's there too. And I think Rebel is going to point at whoever's got the lizard. And I don't know if Sam will actually do anything about this at this point in time, but I think that's what Rebel's going to do before leaving. And I am I don't know why I keep starting things when I don't know how. Oh, right. I remember what I was going to do. I was going to do a lateral move to heal Phee. But Oh, no, I know what happens. So I think the intent is to heal Phee so that Phee might be able to like get up and run on their own or something like that. But what happens is Rebel actually just sort of establishes a connection to the space between, sort of through Phee, because that's what Rebel was trying to do, is use the space between to heal Phee. And Instead, what happens is Rebel gets these images of like bright light and bare skin and the sense of needing something. And it's just like so I'm gonna give a token to the space between. Since I'm not gonna be giving that token to Phee.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I might also use that final move.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take a look at it real quick. Maybe now is not the time for it because we still have to get like out of here. Yeah.
Here's what I suggest. I think if we're close enough to the end, we can probably transition to finishing this mission. And I think whatever our next teleportation can happen maybe just before we find out how things shake out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Vivien is going to I'm going to spend the token that I got from Marius to use the same move of drawing fire and taking a hit. I'm going to just continue to get blasted. Just every extendable shield I have on this armor is fully out, just getting scored. But I do get Marius, who may or may not still be breathing. I think the two of us are the last to actually get out of the room. This connection with the space between is made with Phee, and they're starting to glow even brighter than they were before. Think there is a crackle of whatever communications that we have, and we hear a voice of someone that we know from either intelligence or just deliberation. This is Voight. We picked up your signal, and we are ready to collect O'Reilly at the third level southeast entrance. Get your asses out of there.
Uh-huh.
And I think we... Oh, no, you go ahead if you had the next piece.
Keep going.
And I'm going to suggest that the last things that the four of us feel before the jump happens is stepping onto the awaiting craft, and before we can really twig what's happened, who managed to live, who managed to die, even if this craft managed to escape, we realize that there's the sensation of being on a different vessel, and the sound of the waves.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Fuck.
I think the transition is less instantaneous than it has been the previous couple of times.
Mhm.
I think it's they're running down the hallways. There's a lot of shouting and a lot of just people coming in from every direction to try to stop them. There's a lot of gunfire, a lot of like fancy new age space laser fire. And through it, like Rebel is yelling to Talanor that like Phee needs light. And Talanor like taking a fucking detour to the grow house where the space station grows like the food for this floor or whatever. And just like pelting through a greenhouse. And just plants getting uprooted and thrown and just fucking destroyed by the chaos that follows behind this whole parade. And as we all run under the ultraviolet lights in the greenhouse, there's a distinct feeling of like the sun on our skin. And at some point, the mandate starts like firing heavy ammunition type rounds that when they explode, it like rocks the air and it feels like the deck is slipping and sliding beneath our feet as we run, as if it's moving.
Oh, I love that.
And there's just a trail of destruction and blood behind us as we make this sprint. No one is getting out unscathed. And there's like the shouts and screams of the people around us are intermingled with like the cries of seabirds. And Phee is growing brighter and brighter. And we crash into the airlock where the ship is waiting for us. And like we can't even wait for the vacuum to properly switch because the mandate is that close behind. They're so close to being able to just like shut everything down. And so we get that like lack of oxygen for a moment before we all stumble onto the new ship, and it closes its doors and begins to repressurize. And we feel the breeze of the repressurization on our faces, and it smells salty. And as the airlock doors open again, and we, the audience, are about to look at this crew and kind of get our first less chaotic look of how they all fared, we slam cut to a very different vessel, and like wooden doors closing and the creaking of ropes, and the sound of waves against the hull.
Hell yeah.
Fucking hell. A+.
Thank you, Danielle, so much for that word picture.
Mhm.
Thank you, Schrag, so much for your word picture. Yeah, so this has been the Ultraviolet Catastrophe, Chapter 3. Join us again next week, where we will be playing Ocean Tides. Yeah. That's right, we do it in reverse order. So, playing with me today has been Schrag.
I have been Schrag. You can continue to find me on the internet at various places, presumably containing the word secret and frog. I appreciated very much getting to play Vivien as a space paladin.
Hell yeah, it was so good. We've also had Dirk.
Hi, I'm Dirk. You will not be finding me anywhere because I have been destroyed by my friends and their very, very good words. But if you want to go looking for something that looks like me, you can try Hope's Hearthpod. Yeah.
We've also had Danielle.
I've been Danielle. You can continue to find me on the internet wherever you get good content at Red-tailed Hawk 90.
And I've been August. You can find me on Twitter at HarpyDora, on Tumblr at Strange Harpy. You can find Standing Stones at Stones _standing on Twitter. We have a Tumblr, but I'm really bad at updating it. What I think it's Standing Stones Productions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, join us next Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, where we will be embarking on Chapter 4.
Ooh.
Stay safe out there, y'all. Bye.
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 Right.